Hi. Movie Express recap here. Today, I'm going to explain an action, crime, thriller film called Polar. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. The movie opens with a scene of a man by the pool somewhere in Chile. A woman named Cindy comes out of the pool and greets him, while he snorts cocaine. He sprays champagne onto her body, then proceeds to work out and dances around. Meanwhile, Facundo, a sniper, sets up his kill shot. Cindy gets on her knees and cleans his pipes, while the rest of the assault team, Alexei, Kurt, and Hilda, closes in on the target. The sniper hits him from the back, staggering him. He reaches for his gun, but Alexei throws a dumbbell on him, causing him to be disoriented. The man was then gunned down. He was revealed to be a former employee of Damocles, an organization of assassins. The assassins get on a chopper and flee, while the man slowly deflates. In Seattle, Washington, Duncan, who is known as the Black Kaiser, is a Damocles employee nearing mandatory retirement on his 50th birthday. He undergoes a medical examination and goes to his accountant's office to make a donation. By making sizable contributions to his company retirement fund, he is owed over $8 million, which he can withdraw in 14 days, which is his official retirement date. He meets up with his former colleague, Vivian, and discusses the death of Michael, the man killed earlier. He was the fourth agent that got killed in the last few months. Vivian asks Duncan for one last job, for a revenge hit on the Mexicans that killed Michael, as ordered by their boss Mr. Blutz. He rejects her offer as he is retiring within the next 14 days. Duncan lives in a remote town in Montana with a pet dog he adopted earlier. He puts on a DVD on how to raise a dog, while he sips on some whiskey. As he falls asleep, he experiences a nightmare, possibly PTSD. He wakes up with a gun in his hands and misfired upon his newly adopted dog. While burying his dogs, he notices his neighbor chopping wood. Feeling alone, he goes to town and gets himself a new pet fish. He sits by the window while listening to a podcast. Seeing his neighbor going back to her cabin, he sits on his porch while eyeing her. Her neighbor is confused as she sees that all of her firewood was chopped and arranged. Feeling annoyed by the messages on his laptop, he calls Vivian and tells her that he still won't take the job. Meanwhile, in the office with her boss Mr. Blitz and her colleague Hilda, Mr. Blutz reveals that the job is actually a ruse to take out Duncan so that they can save the $8 million retirement fund that he will be getting. Feeling something is off, Duncan flies to Belarus to meet his target. He enters the hotel where his target resides and a shootout ensues. To his dismay, he found out that he was the target instead. He interrogates his target to find out who was behind this, but the obese man has no clue. He gives Vivian a call telling her that the job was done. This shocks her. Returning to Montana, Duncan is hunted down by Facundo's team, via his accountant and several fake addresses. Next, we see Duncan going to a grocery to get himself supplies for his birthday. He meets her neighbor Camille for the first time, and immediately the girl simps over him. He goes back to his cabin and blows himself a balloon, celebrating his own birthday. The following day, Duncan and Camille finally meet in a diner and they start conversing. The assassins go through several locations and cross them out one by one, leaving out only one possible location. Duncan and Camille meet up again in a diner. Seeing that Duncan is able to speak 8 languages, Camille suggests for him to be a teacher at a school. He agrees. Next, we see Duncan giving an ill-fated talk at a local school about foreign countries. He teaches them knife combat and how to identify dead bodies. After that, he buys Camille a present. She unwraps it and finds a pistol. He tries to teach her to shoot, but she seems disturbed by the weapon. They had coffee, and Camille starts to tell him about her traumatized past. The following day, Duncan visits the town store to get a gift for Camille. While on the way home, he encountered a girl with her car broken down. The girl asks him if he could charge her phone, and Duncan brought her home to get her charged instead. While distracted, a sniper starts unloading onto his house. He kills Cindy with an axe. He manages to escape from the sniper's crosshair. He appears from behind the snipers and executes him while naked. Then he starts shooting at the mercenaries with the sniper. Hilda sends an assassin to go after him. Not knowing that it was a decoy, the assassin got hit on both his knees and his shoulders from behind. He resumes his aim on Hilda, who is now cowering in fear in his house. Using the thermal scope, he spots Hilda's breath behind the fridge. He takes the shot and kills her. Duncan discovers this from Alexei's girlfriend Junkie Jane, who reveals that Alexei had kidnapped Camille. He barges into Camille's house to find that her house was ransacked. Duncan seeks the help of his old friend Porter but is betrayed and drugged. Duncan awakens in Blute's mansion chained in place and is tortured for 3 days by Blute himself for killing Hilda, who was his girlfriend. At the same time, Camille is kept in a drug-induced incoherent state by Jane. Blute stabs Duncan with a slim knife and part of the blade snaps off on Duncan's titanium hip replacement. Blut also slashes Duncan's face and stabs him in the left eye. Overnight, Duncan uses the knife shard to pick the locks on his manacles. He starts massacring the bodyguards. By morning he escapes the mansion, killing many of Blut's men. He travels to Jasmine, an old friend of his, who treats his wounds and supplies him with weapons. Duncan calls Vivian and offers himself in trade for Camille, which she accepts, but on Blut's orders, she double-crosses him and sends a hit squad, accompanied by Alexei and herself. They tracked his phone using a satellite and found him in an old abandoned warehouse. The hit squad arrives and assembles themselves in front of him. Duncan gives Vivian a chance to walk away, but she refuses, and he uses remote sentries to kill the entire force and leaves a wounded Vivian to her fate. Duncan returns to Blut's mansion, where Blut's remaining henchmen abandon him and flee rather than face Duncan. Blut awaits Duncan alone and is decapitated. Duncan rescues Camille and returns to Montana, where he treats her. When he awakens one morning, he finds newspaper clippings of the murder of a family many years prior, which he recognized as a hit that he, himself, carried out, albeit with bad intel. The only survivor of the family was a young daughter, who grew up to be Camille. He finds himself at gunpoint and explains what happened to Camille before telling her to close her eyes and pull the trigger, however she spares him. Camille asks him to help her find out who ordered her father dead, and he agrees. If you like this story, subscribe to our channel. Turn on the notification bell to get updated on more videos like this. Leave a like and comment. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.